The average person under 35 will go through a new job at least every 1 to 3 years on average. Hi, I'm Steve Gedeon, a professor at one of the largest entrepreneurship programs in the world at the Ted Rogers School of Management in Toronto, Canada. Today I'm going to be talking about the use of entrepreneurial tools, methods, and principles on how to design your career and to design your life. Most business courses are based on a planning-based causal reasoning method. This is where you know what your goal is, and we can give you a step-by-step approach for how to figure out what the right answer is. Professors know what the right answer is, and they give you a step-by-step approach for how to get there. But this assumes that you know what your goal is, and you've got a relatively stable environment for how to get there. This is also the foundation for virtually all career and job planning books, as well as most happiness books and self-help literature. Only 3% of adults have clearly written goals. Now, if you do have clear written goals, planning-based methods can be fabulous. That goal-setting methods tremendously increase your ability to achieve your intended goal. But it always starts with knowing what your goals are. And especially for a career or a job, a lot of people just don't know what they want. There's also tremendous uncertainty in the world, and this makes any job that you're searching for quite uncertain, and it also really changes your approach to things. The average person under 35 will go through a new job at least every 1 to 3 years on average. This means that most people under 35 will have at least 10 jobs over the course of their lives, probably more like 20. I've had over 20 jobs in the course of my life, and I'm a little bit over 35. So there's the rise of what's called the gig economy, where people increasingly take a portfolio of part-time jobs and temporary jobs because job security is kind of a thing of the past. So the problem with these planning-based or causal-based reasoning approaches is you have to know what your goal is, and you have to be in a relatively stable environment so that if you deviate from the straight line, you can go back to the straight line to get what you're looking for. But in the real world, the world that you and I live in, it's a bit more chaotic than that. People don't know what their goals are. And so they're in this constant adaptation to changes in the world, as well as this constant seeking or trying to discover what's my purpose in life, what gives me meaning, what brings me happiness. Fortunately, you're not a victim to all this uncertainty and chaos in the world around you. There are entrepreneurial knowledge, the head, skills, the hand, and entrepreneurial attitudes, the heart. So in this program, I'm going to be teaching you about some entrepreneurial tools and methods like design thinking, lean, agile techniques and tools and methods, as well as entrepreneurial principles that you can apply to your life, your career, your job, and your job search. We'll be talking about entrepreneurial skills like being alert to the world around you and curious about what your interests are and being proactive in getting out there and discovering and searching for what makes you happy and what brings you meaning in a job or in a career. We'll talk about being resourceful, networking, selling, and negotiating around that career or that job. And we'll talk about being adaptable and agile when the world around you changes. We'll talk a lot about self-management, time management, and also journaling in order to document which things work for you and which things don't work for you to improve your life. Finally, we'll be talking about the heart, entrepreneurial attitudes like internal locus of control, or as I like to think of it, having my hand on the steering wheel of my life. I might not be able to control if the road is slippery, but I know that I'm in control of the things that I'm in control of, and I proactively take that control over things that I can. We'll also talk about grit, tenacity, resilience, and how to be adaptable to the changes in the world around you. So all of these tools, principles, skills, and attitudes apply to 4 specific domains of entrepreneurship. First, it applies to whether you're looking to be self-employed or start a new business or some kind of a side hustle. And this is what we think of as traditional entrepreneurship. And this is what's taught in most business schools throughout the world, this new company startup approach to entrepreneurship. And this is where most of the tools were developed in the first place. But they also all apply to intrapreneurship or corporate entrepreneurship. This is where you've got a job working for someone else, but you're entrepreneurial in the way that you approach your job to create innovation and change and new products and services and to create value within the context of that employer. We'll also talk about social entrepreneurship, or seeing the world not just as it is, but as it can or ought to be, and then being proactive to bring about that change in the world. And this could be to fight racial inequality, this could be a new political organization, or a new community program. Finally, all of these entrepreneurial tools also apply to your own life, to look at your own life in an entrepreneurial way, to say, how can I be a better human being? How can I be a better father, a better son, a better student, a better professor, a better human being? How can I use entrepreneurial tools to develop my character and my habits and the things that are inside of my control? Learning entrepreneurship is like learning how to play the guitar. You don't learn how to play the guitar by reading a book about how to play the guitar. You learn how to play the guitar by playing the guitar. That we can teach you musical scales and theory and principles about what makes a good song or what doesn't make a good song, but at the end of the day, you have to play the guitar. You have to play it till you grow calluses. Sometimes you'll play it too long and your fingers will bleed and it hurts a little bit, and you have to have perseverance and tenacity to grow those calluses. But at the end of the day, you have to crank it up to 11, find other people to jam with, and have a song in your heart. You have to have that heart, those attitudes, in order to make beautiful music with other people. Thank you very much for joining me today. And don't forget, entrepreneurship is like playing the guitar. Turn it up to 11. Grow those calluses. Find other people to jam with.